one. All right, here we are. Friends on Facebook, thank you for joining us. It took us a little bit to get started. We've got friends on Instagram who have been with us the whole time, wishing you well. Let's take a breath, sing a bracha, learn some Torah. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. Friends on Facebook, we started on time, and for some reason the software wasn't working well. So my apologies, and to those on Instagram, thanks for being patient while we on Facebook got things going. Friends, good morning. I hope that you and yours are safe and well. Let me begin with just a personal sharing, which makes me very proud. Today begins my 8th year as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. I began this role in 2018 and could never have imagined the privilege that this position affords me to be teaching the way that I get to teach and to work with the good people that I get to work with, professionals and volunteers, to feel supported and appreciated and to be able to teach Torah with all of you has been nothing short of affirming, meaningful, holy. So thank you for being a linchpin is wrong word. Thanks for being a community. Thank you for being here every morning. I feel very moved by this role and hope that you appreciate what UJA has empowered us to do. That's part of what I get to do as a rabbi, but we get to enjoy this. We get to be close to each other, and I hope that you also see yourself as charged, as an ambassador of this good stuff. Anchor, Rosa, that's a good word, thank you for it. I hope that you see yourself as an ambassador for these good intentions. Sometimes the Torah comes out precisely and sometimes it doesn't, and that's part of what it is to go live. You don't really have a script, and the Torah might be constant, but our hearts can get wobbly, and we've been through so much together. And so I want to just offer my gratitude to all of you. It is in your honor that I share Torah today. Lovely to know, Kim, that today is your daughter Katie's 30th birthday. Happy birthday to her. So let's go deep. Let's go deep, friends. Thank you for the well wishes that you're offering. I wanted to wish them to you. I also wanted to dedicate our Torah today to the memory of someone whose name you might have heard. Her name is Karen Diamond, Zichrona Livracha, of blessed memory. She was in Boulder, Colorado on June 1st and was a survivor of the Shoah. She was one of those attacked by Molotov cocktails and hatred, and she died yesterday. 29 people were injured in the attack on June 1st, but Karen Diamond, who'd already seen too much, died yesterday. May her memory be blessed, and may we see ourselves as ambassadors also of witness. And I don't want to miss the chance also to name another heroic woman. Liri Albag is a name that you might know as well. She was a young Israeli. She was one of the, I think Tatzpaniot is the title in Sahel in the IDF, one of the young women who saw movement happening before October 7th and warned Sahel, and Sahel did not listen to the Tatzpaniot, to they're all young women actually who are assigned to monitor movement. And even though they did give warning, they were not listened to. She was taken captive for 477 days by terrorists. She was freed 477 days into her captivity in Gaza, and she decided yesterday to return to her service as part of Tzahal. And so this is a day. This is a day of acknowledging heroic women in our community. Karen's memory will live on, and Liri's service will inspire. It's almost too much, and yet what I've shared is barely anything of their lives and of their stories and of their work and of their experiences. I didn't know Karen, and I don't personally know Liri, but I feel so connected to them. And what an important thing to acknowledge, that even when a name becomes well known, we don't necessarily know all the details of their lives. This Parsha brings forward a heroic woman whose name you know, who we know very little of, Miriam. In this Parsha, Numbers 20, verse 1, in the Parsha Chukat, we learn about Miriam that she dies. And think about what you know about Miriam. Before I continue, just think to yourself, what do you know about Miriam Hanaviyah, Miriam the prophetess? Well, you know she's a prophetess. I'm assuming you know that she was Moshe's big sister. You might know, because of Torah text and because of Debbie Friedman's very famous song, that she took a timbrel in her hand and she led the women in dancing and singing. But one of the things you might not realize is that Miriam's name only appears 4 times in the entire Torah. There is a 5th time that we believe we're reading her story, and that's when she accompanies her baby brother down the Nile in a basket. But think about that. Miriam, who has a cup at our Seder table. Miriam, who has inspired song and art. A full-fledged heroine, a prophetess of our people, is only mentioned by the Torah 4 times by name, 5 times if we include that first one. How much do we really know about her? Well, we know a lot about her. We are her students. We are her people. But we don't know everything there is to know. The parts of someone's legacy that we come to know are often a limited snapshot. And what I would love to invite you to do is think about the power of Midrash. And if you're unfamiliar with the term Midrash, let me simply offer that Midrash comes from the word drash, dalid resh shin, from that root. And it means to seek, to search out more meaning, to dig deeper than what is apparent. And that is something in very short supply in our world today. We often think, or many think, that headlines cover the depth of a story and you don't need to dig deeper. Slogans, careless uses of political phraseology, that's what's important. But actually, the history of phrases is also important, and the depth of someone's story that you cannot know just by knowing someone's name. There is a lot to discover. I remember a moment like this in my own life when I was in rabbinical school. One of the most important parts is called CPE, Clinical Pastoral Education, visiting visiting in a hospital someone who is there. And I remember I was a rabbinical student. I had my rabbi's manual with me, my little black book, and I was so nervous. They had us do cold calls, and I was assigned to Sloan Kettering Memorial Hospital, a cancer hospital here in New York that is a place of miracles. And it was a cold call, which means I didn't know the person. I didn't know who they were, or if they were Jewish, or if they wanted a chaplain. And I went to the door, and it took me 20 minutes to be brave enough to knock. And I was ready to speak to, and I would have said then, the patient in the room, or I was trying to be brave enough to show up. I finally did knock on the door, and I walked into this person's room, and she saw me standing there. It must have been obvious on my face how unprepared and scared I was. Also, I was holding my rabbi's manual, and thank God for the chutzpah this woman had. To this day, I don't know if she was Jewish, but she said, "Oh, you don't need that yet," pointing to my book, to my rabbi's manual. I must have walked in looking like I was ready to conduct a funeral and unprepared to do that too. And she had enough humor and presence to say to me, "Oh, Rabbi, you don't need that yet." She was my teacher in the moment, and I thought I was supposed to walk in as the rabbi. And part of that is because I only saw her as a patient, and I only saw me as a rabbi. I forgot that the big gift here and the calling of the moment was to show up as a person and to see her not as a patient, but as a person. And we can do this with text as well. Miriam, sister of Moshe, prophetess. She's more than the four mentions of the text. The rabbis expand her role to include a magical well, a miraculous well that followed the Israelites everywhere because of Miriam's merit. And that is partially based on the textual truth that once she dies, the people suddenly don't have water. Well, maybe that is the Torah hinting that Miriam's nourishment was irreplaceable. But we look for clues like that when we hear about someone. Let me offer a blessing and a challenge to each of us, because here we are in a community that has existed, thank God, for 1,300, where's my count? 1,335 days. Am I right? Penny will let me know if I'm right. We've come together over and over, and yes, I'm the face on the screen, but our comments reveal who we are to each other. And when we meet in person, as so many of us have been blessed to do over these 5+ years of our community's existence, we realize that we only know a little bit about each other. There's so much more to know. There's so much more to know about our ancestor, our teacher, Miriam. Thank you, Penny. There's so much more to know about Karen Diamond. She is not the person who was killed by anti-Semitism. She is a heroine who survived the Shoah and raised a family, and had so much power and fire and life in her that she showed up to advocate for our beloved hostages every week as part of the Bring Them Home Walk for Life rally in Boulder, Colorado. And that's, again, only a snippet of the totality of who she was. And Liri Albag, in her short life so far, may it be long and beautiful and healthy and safe and protected and majestic. She's not, quote, just a chatufa, someone who was a hostage who was freed. She's not just our heroine who returned yesterday to serve in Tzahal once again. She's a human being, an image of God, with a full story that has yet to be told. Each of us is that. May we be blessed, friends, to explore more deeply each other, to reveal maybe a little bit more than we have in the past, so we can come to know each other, we can be together. In memory of Miriam, in memory of Miriam, in honor of Liri, in memory of Karen, and in honor of all of you, friends, may we be closer to each other. May we come to know each other better. It's one of the real purposes of this beautiful community, is to be closer and to amplify the best that each of us brings, using Torah as platform, prompt, and anchor. Thank you, friends, for the privilege of being part of this community and doing this holy work. It's good to be close to you. May we be blessed to become closer. Take a breath, friends. Send your hearts to the east. Think of our beloved 50, who are more than the names that we know. They are people who deserve to be home, to be treated with dignity and kindness. May they be blessed in the merit of our ancestors and in the merit of our heroines. May they be blessed. Sing with me. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, my friends.